Welcome to the Epcotian Adventure,
a podcast where we talk about all things Disney, but we're Epcot-centered.
including tips and tricks, festivals and favorites, and the very latest in our rankings and reviews.
But we're still old enough to remember when the lady with the big pastry on her head reminded us that galactic regulations required us to store all cargo under our seats.
This is episode 73, the top 7 pre-shows at Walt Disney World.
Or, please stand clear. The doors will open automagically.
So now, please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the podcast as we embark on our Epcotian adventure. Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 73 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And today's show is all about not the show, but the show before the show.
The show before the show.
The pre-show.
I like that.
There are a lot of pre-shows at Disney World, but first of all, what is a pre-show?
Well, that's a good question. A pre-show is what, just like you said, it's the show before the show. So before you are in a ride vehicle, before you are on a ride or in the room where it happens, as they say, thank you, shout out Hamilton, we will have something that is setting the mood. It's going to set up the characters involved or the setting involved. It's going to give you a little taste of what's to come. Probably also involving some kind of safety spiel.
In case of emergency, the exits are here, anywhere. Keep your hands and arms inside the carpet.
Almost always. Even in a theater environment, it seems to have some kind of safety involved.
Yeah, there's just always, because people are people.
Well, yeah. Why should it be? You and I should get along, so I don't remember the song. Anyway, go ahead.
Something.
Yeah, something.
But we do love a good pre-show. To my count, I don't know if I got this right, but I counted 16 pre-shows at Walt Disney World. Is that what you came up with, or did you count?
I didn't count them, but I went through them all in my head, my noggin, yeah. And there's a lot of really epic pre-shows out there, and there's a lot of really epic missing older pre-shows. We're actually going to talk about the top 7 pre-shows in our opinion. And again, we have not seen each other's list.
But they'll probably be very much the same.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. And we also have some shout-outs to the older pre-shows that are long gone. But
just a couple that we particularly miss.
Exactly.
A couple things about the pre-show as well. So if you're looking at your clock and it said a 40-minute wait, that clock will stop at the pre-show, not when you step into the ride vehicle. So that's just important to note in your head so that you're not thinking, oh my gosh, it said I was going to have a 40-minute wait and it's been an hour. Well, I mean, maybe it has, but chances are you're counting the pre-show in that, and Disney doesn't. So just something to note. Some rides don't have any pre-show. Let's give an example of one.
A great example would be like Dinosaur. When you go in and they lock you in a room and make you watch the video. No, it's really going to be a place where the line stops. A lot of times you get kind of out of line even. And put into a larger room.
Off.
Yes.
So you are with a smaller group than everyone who's in line.
Right. So another good example, Test Track, where you used to make your vehicles.
Right.
That's a pre-show. An attraction without a pre-show, Pirates of the Caribbean. You just walk through the entire queue without really stopping until you get to load.
Yeah. Every ride in Fantasyland. No pre-show.
Exactly. Although, theoretically, if you think about the new Peter Pan queue,
not a pre-show, that's a queue.
Mid part could be thought of as a pre-show.
No, interactive queue. Totally different.
Okay. Well, but there's showy things there.
There are interactive things.
You can show things.
They're just not a pre-show.
It's not a pre-show. Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into number 7. Sue, what is your number 7 Disney World pre-show?
All right, my number 7 is going to be Soarin'.
Ooh, nice choice.
It's not much of a pre-show. It really is just a safety spiel. But the things that I love about it are it is memorable, mostly due to the fact that it is Patrick Warburton.
Okay, let's review. That is seat belt, carry-on item, safety strap, fear of heights, keep your hands and arms inside at all times. Have a nice flight.
And it's something that gets quoted later, which makes, in my mind, a very effective pre-show. So even though you're just standing in line, you've already been sectioned off for your ride vehicle. So it's going to count as a pre-show.
All right, my number 7 is Avatar Flight of Passage over at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Mainly because, I get to see my outline. I just thought it was really cool. The first time we went through that attraction, I didn't know what to expect. And I just thought the pre-show's technology was really cool.
Help us out and move around a bit. Almost. Yes, got him.
And you get to see yourself doing the little shadow dance thing that goes on. Anyway, I just kind of thought that was cool. So my number 7 is Avatar Flight of Passage.
That is a good one. I enjoy that one as well. That's where you see Not Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
And they pair you up with your avatar. That's a great one.
That's a fun one. Just before that, though, is Hank in the Tank. I really wish Hank in the Tank was part of the pre-show, because if you go through the single rider or the fast
single
pass, I
rider,
think
you
miss
miss
him.
Yeah.
All right, number 6.
Number 6 is going to go to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run.
Ooh, very nice.
One of the reasons this is my favorite, I love the animatronic of Hondo. I think he's amazing.
One of the most sophisticated animatronics.
I truly love. The first time I saw it, when I walked into the room and saw him working and turn around, I thought it was an actor, which is a sign of a good animatronic.
Hello, my friends. I am Hondo Onaka, and this is Onaka Transport Solutions. Today, I am offering the opportunity of a lifetime. I need flight crews to transport this valuable merchandise across the galaxy.
So I love Hondo, and I just love the whole thing. Before the pre-show is fun. I love that pre-show, but then after the pre-show, when you get to actually board the Falcon and you get to be in that waiting room, is mind-blowing to me. So definitely took a spot on my top 7, and it's going to be my number 6. What's
All
yours?
right, well, my number 6, Rock and Roller Coaster over at Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Very nice.
It's a short pre-show. It's old and it's really cheesy. The actress, bless her heart, tries her best. I hate you all.
I don't think she's an actress. I think she is actually their agent.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if she really was.
Because she is that bad of an actor.
Yeah. Anyway, there's just something so memorable and just fun about seeing Aerosmith trying to act. I don't know. I just really enjoy the pre-show there because of how cheesy it is and the whole...
Wait a minute. I love that idea.
And we do quote that quite a bit. And
we really
better
do.
make it a super stretch.
Right.
Anyone that you walk away quoting is a good pre-show.
All right, number 5.
Number 5. I have a feeling this one's going to make an appearance somewhere on your list. But this one's going to go to Hollywood Studios and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Ah, good choice.
I love this one. You get to see the cartoon short, first of all. But then it goes awry, as things tend to do. And Goofy ends up out of the train. And it is not Pluto's fault.
No, he's trying to help him. He's trying to get the picnic basket to him. It's actually a subplot that most people miss.
It is not Goofy's fault. It's usually Goofy's fault.
Yeah, blame
This was
Goofy.
not.
When in doubt, blame Goofy.
And even in the ride, Mickey's the one who... It's not Goofy's fault. None of it is. But anyway, I love that pre-show. I love that it's interactive with the cast member there, even though the cast member is usually not at all interested. I don't know. We very rarely got a good cast member.
The cast member's inside in the air conditioning, not outside doing guest control. So I'm just saying.
That's true. But I love it, and I love that the screen blows up and you walk through it. It's brilliant from start to finish.
Well, my number 5, surprisingly, is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Yeah, for all the same reasons Sue just said. Mostly because it's innovative. I love the screen, how it blasts apart. I won't say how it's done. I finally figured it out. It wasn't all that hard to figure out.
It blows up.
Right, it's real.
Obviously.
But all of the pressurized air that comes out with the steam, well, it's not even steam, it's fog.
Smoke because there was an explosion.
Right. Wink. Okay.
Well, while we're talking about Mickey and Minnie's, let's just take 1 second to once again plug my favorite part of the ride. Because people miss it all the time.
Okay, yeah, the boom, 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 boom.
The sun in the opening scene, before everything goes wrong and they're going through the park. look up and watch the sun sing the bass line. It is so entertaining.
Well, he's happy and then he's so serious.
He takes his job very seriously, so don't miss that part next time you ride the ride.
I love that.
And it's only in that opening scene.
Well, okay, number 4.
Number 4. This one, again, is actually my top 4 are probably on yours in some capacity.
I have a feeling that we may have a lot of crossover here, yeah.
Yeah. So my number 4 is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind.
And so is mine. So, yeah.
Wow, I wonder if we have the same order. This is going to be interesting.
It's going to be, no, I already know one that's going to be different, so.
Okay.
They say Epcotian wrong.
Welcome, people of Epcot, Epcoters, Epcotians, citizens of Epcot. Does anyone know what they call themselves?
It's not Epcotian. I know we keep harping on this, but...
If they had said Epcotian, it would have been higher on my list.
Well, very good. The other thing I just love about it is when Rocket gets close to the... Well, it would be the camera where he's at, but the monitor, and you can see him fog up the lens.
Well, obviously.
And it's like... Someone had the forethought to do that for an animated character. I just think that's amazing. I love that pre-show.
It's awesome. And I love when they show the ship and they're doing the rocked out version of Universe of Energy song. And there's just so many great moments. And he talks about Horizons. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's like a pre-show. That's in the queue.
There's a couple pre-shows.
I love it. I love that queue. That's the one queue I actually look forward to standing in because of all of the Easter eggs. And I love that pre-show. You
know, that is true because we go pre-show, queue, pre-show. On that one. And then there's almost a third pre-show once you're on the attraction. I guess we can't call that a pre-show anymore because you're in the ride vehicle.
Between the lift and the launch.
Yeah.
That's true. That is technically you're on the ride, but it really acts like a pre-show.
It does. That one is kind of unique that way. But I love it. It's definitely a winner.
Number 3.
Number 3. I should let you read one first because I have a feeling we're going to
Number 3 is near and dear to my heart because I was a lead here at Disneyland. This is the Haunted Mansion.
Oh!
And the expanding room. I'm sorry. The room with no doors and no windows that everybody quotes along with.
Is this haunted room actually stretching? Or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. This chamber has no windows and no doors.
That's the one.
We just called it the ER for expanding room. But it really is actually really close to my favorite pre-show of all time. But there are two that kind of top it for other reasons, more nostalgia. But I love the Haunted Mansion pre-show.
It's one that literally everybody knows. You can't walk into that room without having at least one person start speaking along, which if you've never been on it before is going to be super annoying. So think about that before you do it. But
I mouth along with it. I don't say the words out loud because it always, as a cast member, drove me nuts when people would quote along with it.
Well, and one person starts and then you think, well, one person's already started, you might as well do it. And then everybody's doing it. And the one person who's never been on it before is like, what are they saying? What is happening?
Kind of like being around a bunch of Texans when they sing Deep in the Heart of Texas.
It's true. That can be a
They can't help themselves with the Deep in the Heart of Texas.
It's true. They come out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Scary.
Well, that is not my number 3.
Ooh, okay. What's your number 3?
But, spoiler alert, that is my number 2. So number 2 is Haunted Mansion for me, but my number 3 is going to be Muppets 3D.
Oh, okay. Wow. Why is it so far down your list?
Number 3 is not very far down my list.
That's way down the list. It really is one of the best pre-shows of all time.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Oh, and thank you. What about me?
It's also one of the longest pre-shows. Because it is basically the length of the show.
Yeah, that's a good point. A very good point. And if you can and have never seen it, get there early or get there late, either way. Stay for the entire pre-show from start to finish.
Yes.
I would hesitate to say it's as funny or maybe even a little funnier than the actual film.
Absolutely 100% agree. And take a look around the lobby as well because there's lots of visual gags as well. And you're in the AC, you have entertainment happening, and no one's going to care if you sit on that floor.
No, and it's only like a 12-minute pre-show and 12-minute film, so you haven't even given up in a half hour at this point.
Right. And it is so worth it, especially if you're a fan of the Muppets. Even if you're not, it's still entertaining, I would think. I would hope.
If it's not, if you're there with somebody who thinks it's not, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
It's true. Just leave them somewhere.
Yeah.
Drop them off at Pizza Rizzo's across the street.
Oh, that's just mean.
So that is my number 3 and my number 2. So we're up to your number 2 now.
My number 2 is Soarin'.
Oh.
Because, I'm sorry, Patrick rocks.
Nice work, pal.
He does. It's true.
Soarin' goes back to the opening of DCA for me. I got to be a scheduler for Soarin' at California Adventure. So anyway, it's got a little soft spot in my heart, and I just love Patrick. He's cool. That's my number 2.
That's a weird reason to like a pre-show.
Why? Because Patrick?
No, because you scheduled it.
No, but that's the nostalgia factor for me.
Interesting.
I always felt a part of the attraction because I was the scheduler that got to schedule people to work it.
I like that.
Anyway,
well, now I'm
so
concerned because
we're up to number 1.
So my number 1 is not on your list?
My number 1 is Muppet Vision 3D. That is my absolute favorite of all time. And I'm being glared at. I'm afraid to find out what Sue's number 1 is. Like, I missed something.
What my number 1 is.
I do?
But I can't fault you for putting Muppets at your number 1 slot because the Muppets pre-show is epic. But how is Rise of the Resistance not on your list?
Rise of the Resistance is my honorable mention.
Honorable mention? It is my number 1.
See, here's the reason. Okay, work with me here. The reason I did it this way is because to me, the pre-show for that is where you see the hologram of Ray, and you have... MBB-8.
He's not even a hologram. He's there in the room with you.
Yeah, and we get told...
Roger, this is Black Leader. I hear you're a fine-looking group of recruits. Well, no time to waste. Let's get you on your way to the General.
Well, yeah,
because
that's Poe who tells us that.
The next portion of that, to me, is part of the ride. And then you walk through the queue, and you get interrogated. But to me, again, that's kind of like entering into the Millennium Falcon. It's so amazing and spectacular. To me, that whole experience together is one big ride. And so I don't put that into the pre-show.
Okay, so first of all, it's not a ride. You're in Star Wars.
Exactly. So this is why I knew you were going to have Rise as your number 1. It didn't surprise me.
It didn't even make your top 7?
Because the one little portion that I consider pre-show.
No, it goes pre-show, pre-ride, pre-show, attraction.
Okay, we'll go with that.
That's logic.
Because technically the cell could be a pre-show in itself.
It totally is.
Too. It is. It's almost like there's too much pre-show to be considered.
No such thing.
Pre-show.
Nope.
And
nope.
If you're doing a drinking game for every time we say pre-show, then pre-show. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it at that because
it's my number 1, so I'm going to talk about it.
Please do.
So it is epic because you go in and you get to see Rey, and she's there to recruit you to the Resistance. BB-8 is there, and then you walk outside, and you get to see BB-8 in the ship. If you've never looked over to your right, look over to your right, because BB-8 is getting the ship ready for Poe. It's pretty great. And then you go into the sort of middle ground where it's part attraction, but you're not seated yet. You're still standing.
That's true.
So that's another part of the pre-show with an amazing animatronic in there. And then you go into the interrogation portion, which is interactive and super fun and a little intimidating because they're all part of the dark side. They're all bad. But it's so much fun. And then you go in and there's Kylo Ren. And how is that not in your top 7? Anyway, it's...
Because all of that to me was
pre-show.
part of the ride.
No.
So that's...
There is no ride. You're
really
in Star Wars.
I know. Okay.
So anyway.
That was...
Rise is the best, the end. Okay, well, my honorable mention is going to be Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really hard one not to put on the list, actually. It's like the quintessential pre-show in that you are physically trapped in a room. Like, they lock you off into a room. Rod Serling comes on the TV. They set up the whole storyline of what you're about to experience. And they set the mood with the lighting and the lightning in the windows that starts on the TV and then expands to be in the room that you're in. So you are actually in the story. It's such a great pre-show.
It really does bring you into the show.
This, as you may recognize, is a maintenance service elevator, still in operation, waiting for you. We invite you, if you dare, to step aboard because in tonight's episode, you are the star. And this elevator travels directly to The Twilight Zone.
It really just didn't make my list, I think, because there was 7 other bangers ahead of it.
That was me too. I had it on my list at one point, and it just kept falling off as I remembered others and just had a more nostalgic feeling for other ones, but it is so good.
Talk about some ones that don't exist anymore that made our list.
Well, let's talk about just a couple that didn't make our list but still exist.
Oh, okay, good idea.
Just because there are other pre-shows in there. You talked about Rock and Roller Coaster, that wasn't on my list. You talked about Flight of Passage. We did sort of mention Star Tours in the opening. Mm-hmm. Because I like the original Star Tours pre-show, that's just the safety spiel, pretty much, but it's on the monitor, and now it's Alice and Janney doing the voice of the robot. That's fun, but I miss the original one with the lady with that ginormous pastry thing on her head.
You'll be boarding in just a few moments. Thank you, and have a pleasant tour.
She was like half of Leia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Weird.
It was great. She was amazing, and I loved the visual of the different species entering the Starspeeder 3000, and it was just so much fun. I loved the original one, but the new one is fun too. And then Tron Light Cycle Run.
Yeah, that one had disappointed me a little bit. I love the effect,
but
it's so
the
short.
Effect. That one effect is the only part of the pre-show that I really remember.
It's the only pre-show.
Yeah, it's
you walk
pretty
into
great,
the line,
though.
they put you in there, and
Oh, wow!
and then you're in line again. So, anyway.
But that one effect is pretty great.
True.
So
True.
There is that. And then you talked a little bit about Test Track, where you get to build your car. We talked a little bit about Dino, where Dr. Grant Seeker sets up the whole storyline of he's going to send completely unqualified civilians back in time to collect a dinosaur for him.
What could go wrong?
What in the world? So, and then Mission Space, I will never ever see, but I would love it probably if I saw it because it is Gina Torres.
As you can see, astronaut flight training isn't like anything you've ever experienced before. If you would like to opt out, just ask any member of the ISTC crew for directions. As for the rest of you, report for your pre-flight briefing. It's go time.
And then Tiki Room.
At Magic Kingdom does have a pre-show, that's right.
But does it land as well?
A little more visual. In other words, there's animatronics at World. Lands is just the tiki gods
and water
in the garden, and lots of water. Yes,
and music.
That's true. I guess I hadn't really even thought of that as a pre-show, but of course it is.
It totally is.
Yes, of course it is.
So those are all the ones that I came up with. If I missed any, let me know. I don't know if there's another one out there currently that I am not remembering, but we want to know what your current favorite one is. But let's talk about the past a little bit, because that's kind of what we do, because we're old.
I had actually 4 written down that I really do miss. One of them, of course, is Ellen's Energy Adventure. We've talked about that pre-show quite a few times. And, sorry, Paul, we love it.
The pre-show was so much better than the ride. But there are so many...
Yes.
I don't know that a single day goes by that we don't quote something from that pre-show.
Oh my gosh!
What?
It's my old college roommate, Judy Peterson. I had the best nickname for her, though.
What was that?
Stupid Judy. Got it? Good. If you don't, then that's your problem, because you're late. And you think about that next time.
It's just very, very quotable.
It was very, very Ellen, which is why it was so much fun.
Her timing and her sense of humor is just so funny. But I also loved Cranium Command.
You're just begging to pilot this chicken, aren't you, boy?
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
I'm more to you, Snooky.
Yeah, that Cranium Command was over in the Health and Life Pavilion, or what was known as the MetLife Pavilion by a lot of people, at Epcot. It's the big gold dome that has no way to get into it now between Guardians of the Galaxy and Mission Space.
They put up some planters or something, I don't know. But I still hope that it becomes something, either Wreck-It Ralph to bring in that internet thing that they talked about for the Play Pavilion, or what I really hope is that it becomes something to do with Inside Out. Inside Out could be Cranium Command. We keep saying that, but Disney, are you listening? It would be awesome. It would be awesome. Same idea, but to do the emotions instead. It would be perfect. It would be really fun to have those animatronics. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, I would love that. That would be awesome. I also miss, and this is actually one of my favorite pre-shows of all time, the original Alien encounter at Magic Kingdom. It actually had 2 different versions, and this is before Stitch. When it first opened, Phil Hartman played the
robot character inside the pre-show before you went into the chambers. And his name was...
I'm the XS2000 Technobotic Presentation Unit, programmed to show you how to seize the future.
But just a little while later, they brought in a new, more villainous robot named Sir, who was the Simulated Intelligence Robotics host, voiced by Tim Curry.
I love Tim Curry.
And he was truly frightening and evil. Poor Skippy gets transported from one side to the other, who's this cute little, almost like plush type character, and he gets like burned up in the other chamber.
And here's the little skipper now. Oh, shut up, Scruffy. You're not burned. You just with a healthy glow.
And then Sir says,
with the mere touch of a button, the entire process can be reversed. It can be suspended indefinitely.
Yeah, he was mean.
That's not cool. I actually never saw Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter because I saw the pre-show once and walked out the chicken exit.
As did a lot of people.
So, yeah.
Yeah, when I worked Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom, I did guest control for that. I didn't know the attraction, but I would break people through the land, and one of the things I would do was go to greeter so that they could bump through their lunches faster. And I worked greeter for Alien Encounter, trying to tell people that they could not take their kids in if they were under 13 or basically under a certain height. Yeah, that was interesting, getting
in
yelled
Magic
at.
Kingdom, yeah.
And then a few people that snuck their kids in and then came back and yelled at me for not telling them how scary it was. It was like, we kind of did, actually. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. That ride would have done well at Studios.
Oh, yeah.
It did not belong at Magic Kingdom.
No, it should have been Studios from day one.
And again, Eisner. I mean, when in doubt, blame Eisner.
Well, of course. Or Goofy. So it's either Goofy or Eisner.
Just some weird decisions
Wait
made
a minute.
during that time.
I never saw Goofy and Eisner in the same place at the same time.
Come on,
Coincidence?
I like
Goofy. Anyway, did you have any others that you met from the old days?
That pretty much covers it, I think.
I had one more, and that was Captain EO.
Oh,
I used to
yeah.
love listening to the background music from that and seeing the making of Captain EO before you actually saw the film. To me, it was really, really a fun pre-show. But, folks, what is your favorite pre-show at Walt Disney World? There's our list, our top 7, and some old ones into the history books. What's out there
let
that
us
you
know
like?
what your favorite one is. Let us know if we missed any. I came up with 16. Let me know if I missed some. And we have done some random ranking episodes in the past.
Yeah, my favorite one still is the favorite smells at Walt Disney World. If you
That
haven't
was a
listened
really
to that
fun
one, you go back and listen to it. It was really fun. And Where in the Park Are You? With the different sounds.
Yes, that was
Try
fun
to
too.
Go back and listen to that one as well. That one's
And
fun.
Let's see. Top Smells was number 23, episode 23. We did top 15 cues in episode 27. Top Thrill Rides in episode 46. Let us know what else we should rank.
Yeah.
We are always happy to share our opinions.
Before we go, we'd like to give a big thank you to our theme music composer, Jason Patrick Rowan, whose music is licensed through Pond 5. And of course, thank you, Phoenician.
Thank you, Phoenicians. And don't forget to rate, review, like, share, and subscribe. It really does help other people find us. You can find us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Epcotian Adventure is a $1,000 brunch production and a proud gold member of D23. Thanks for joining us today for episode 73 of the Epcotian Adventure. I'm Rod.
And I'm Sue.
And we'll see you in line.
Bye. Yeah, that was a sentence.
That was a good sentence. That didn't run on at all.